You are surrounded by grinning competitors sharpening their daggers. In business, in politics, in life, there are those eager for your downfall. The problem isn't whether enemies exist. The problem is whether you are prepared. What if you possessed 18 unbreakable laws that gave you an unfair advantage over every enemy? Principles so sharp that once understood, you'd never look at power the same way again. This isn't about justice. This is about survival, and survival belongs to the ruthless. In every room you enter, there's someone smiling at you while secretly competing with you. At work, in politics, even in friendship, the game of advantage never stops. The question is not who plays it. The question is, are you aware you're in it? Niccolò Machiavelli understood something most people still deny, that the world is not ruled by fairness, but by advantage. Empires, corporations, relationships, all rise and fall on power, not morality. And power belongs to those who see human nature for what it is, not for what they wish it were. So tonight, you will learn 18 ruthless rules Machiavelli knew, rules that can turn you from a pawn into a player. These are not rules of kindness. They are rules of clarity, and clarity is power. If you're ready to learn how power really works, hit the like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Welcome to Machiavelli's Code, where strategy meets truth. 1. Never assume goodwill. People aren't loyal to you. They're loyal to what you represent in their lives. Your attention, your comfort, your support, or perhaps the sense of importance you give them. When those things serve their needs, they stay. When those needs evolve, they drift away. It's rarely about betrayal. It's about survival. People are driven by what benefits them, not by the illusion of eternal loyalty. That's why one day you can be everything to someone, and the next, you're forgotten. It's not that they stopped caring. They just stopped needing. This truth may sound cold, but it brings freedom. When you understand that loyalty is often conditional, you stop expecting permanence from temporary souls. You learn to love without attachment, to give without expecting, and to walk away without bitterness. The Stoics knew this well. They taught that pain only exists when we demand the world to behave according to our desires. So when someone changes, don't take it personally. People are reflections of their needs, not your worth. Accept that, and betrayal loses its sting. You stop asking why they left, and instead whisper, "Thank you for showing me." True strength is not in holding people, but in never losing yourself when they let go. 2. Appear virtuous. Act strategic. Men judge by what they see, not by what truly is. The world doesn't reward purity of heart. It rewards perception. So appear kind, speak humbly, and act fair. Let your presence disarm, your tone soothe, and your words build trust. But beneath that calm surface, think sharply. Observe quietly. Plan every move. People are drawn to light, yet they respect power. Your virtue should be your shield. It protects your image, your dignity, your peace. But never mistake virtue for weakness. A man who is only kind will be devoured by those who mistake his goodness for naivety. That's why you must carry calculation as your hidden weapon. Know when to act and when to hold back. Let your morality guide your intentions, but let your logic shape your actions. In a world ruled by appearances, you must master both faces, the one you show and the one that strategizes in silence. Remember, virtue earns you trust, but intelligence keeps you safe. Appear harmless if you must, but always remain prepared. For while virtue wins hearts, calculation wins wars. 3. Control information. The one who controls what others know controls how they think. Knowledge shapes perception, and perception shapes reality. Most people don't question what they're told. They accept it because it's easier than thinking for themselves. They believe what comforts them, not what challenges them. That's why truth rarely governs the world. Belief does. Those who understand this don't fight over facts. They quietly influence what others believe to be facts. They craft narratives, repeat them until they sound like truth, and watch how people build their entire lives around illusions. This is the oldest form of power. Control the mind, and you control the man. Control the story, and you control the masses. It's not the strongest who lead, but the most persuasive. The wise learn to question everything, especially what flatters them. For every belief is a chain or a key. The difference lies in whether it frees you or confines you. Seek truth even when it's uncomfortable, because comfort breeds ignorance. And remember, the world is not ruled by what is, but by what people believe it to be. Stay aware, stay awake. That's how you remain free. 4. Strike first. The most dangerous act in life is waiting. Every moment you hesitate, someone else is moving, deciding, and positioning themselves ahead of you. The world doesn't wait for the uncertain. It consumes them. He who hesitates becomes prey, not because he is weak, but because he allowed fear to dictate his timing. The hesitant man watches opportunities pass like ghosts, visible but untouchable. You must learn to move with awareness, not hesitation. Anticipate betrayal before it arrives, and prepare your response before the blade is drawn. Most people are blinded by hope, thinking loyalty lasts forever. But the wise know that betrayal is not a question of if, but when. This isn't cynicism. It's survival. To live with open eyes is to understand that trust must be balanced with caution. Act before others expect you to. Think 2 moves ahead. Strike not from anger, but from clarity. Waiting is a silent poison. It kills dreams, ambitions, and even self-respect. In a world that rewards the bold, patience must be strategic, not passive. The moment you stop waiting, you stop being prey, and start becoming the hunter. 5. Be needed, not loved. Love is fragile. It flutters like a candle in a draft, bright and sincere until the slightest wind reveals its weakness. Need, however, is a different beast, deep, steady, and quietly relentless. Where love asks for feeling, need demands survival. When someone depends on you, their choices reshape around your presence, their routines, their plans, even their sense of safety. Losing you is no longer an emotional setback. It becomes a practical crisis. That is the kind of influence that changes behavior, shapes alliances, and secures loyalty longer than any promise or platitude ever could. This is not cruelty. It is strategy married to clarity. Make yourself indispensable by offering value others cannot easily replace. Knowledge that saves them time, skill that protects their interests, or a calm that steadies their panic. Provide support that creates habit, not favor. Teach them to reach for you first, and they will learn to stay. Do this while remaining principled, humane, and discreet. Never force dependency, quietly earn it. When need binds deeper than affection, your position is no longer based on fickle sentiment, but on necessity. That is stability. That is protection. And in a world of shifting loyalties, being needed is the quietest power you can wield. 6. Reward strategically, never give too freely. Generosity without intention is a slow surrender. Every gift, every favor, every act of kindness carries weight. It either strengthens your position or weakens it. Give when it builds loyalty, respect, or influence. Withhold when it breeds comfort, dependence, or disrespect. People value what they earn. They take for granted what flows too easily. The moment your generosity becomes predictable, it loses its power. True giving is not about emotion. It's about strategy. When used wisely, generosity can disarm envy, soften resistance, and turn rivals into allies. But when given blindly, it empties you and empowers those who would quietly use you. Learn to make your kindness deliberate. Give in ways that remind others of your strength, not your need to be liked. A calculated act of generosity can change the course of a relationship more than 1,000 empty words. So give with awareness. Give with timing. Because generosity, when used with precision, isn't weakness. It's one of the sharpest weapons a wise man can wield. 7. Silence is power. The one who speaks least learns the most. Silence is not emptiness. It's a weapon. While others rush to fill the air with noise, the silent one listens, absorbs, and understands. Every word they speak reveals their desires, fears, and weaknesses. The more they talk, the more they expose. But the one who remains quiet holds power, for he knows, and they do not. Mystery breeds respect. When people can't read you, they imagine you're deeper than you are. When they don't know your plans, they can't interfere with them. The less you reveal, the more others project, and in their uncertainty, they tread carefully. Silence confuses the arrogant and intrigues the wise. It gives you space to observe without being observed, to learn without revealing your intentions. Let others speak. Let them boast, complain, and reveal their inner world. You, meanwhile, collect information, patterns, and truths. This is how the patient rise above the impulsive. In a world obsessed with noise, silence is a form of dominance. Speak only when your words can shift the balance. Until then, let your quietness do the work. 8. Fear is safer than love. A man who fears losing you will stay loyal far longer than one who simply loves you. Love is warm, but fear is binding. Love fades with time, with routine, with familiarity. But fear sharpens the mind. It keeps him alert, cautious, and aware of your value. When someone fears to lose you, they measure their words, their actions, their tone. They think twice before taking you for granted. That's not manipulation. It's human nature. People protect what they're afraid to lose. The truth is, love alone is rarely enough to sustain respect. Too much comfort breeds neglect. Too much certainty kills desire. The wise learn to balance warmth with distance, affection with mystery. You don't need to threaten, withdraw, or play games. You simply need to remind others, quietly, that your absence would cost them something real. Fear of loss creates value. It makes people show up, listen, and act with care. So never make yourself too easy to keep. Be kind, but not dependent. Be present, but not predictable. For in relationships, as in power, love may win the heart, but fear ensures obedience. 9. Build layers of secrets. Even your closest allies should never know your full truth. No matter how much trust you share, Always keep a part of yourself untouched, unseen, and unspoken. The moment people know everything about you, they stop respecting the mystery that surrounds you. They stop wondering what you're capable of and start calculating how to use what they know. A man with no secrets is a man with no leverage, and a man with no leverage is at the mercy of others. Power lives in silence, in the parts of your story that only you understand. You can share your thoughts, but never your full strategy. You can express emotions, but never reveal your deepest fears. Even loyalty can turn brittle under pressure. Today's ally could be tomorrow's rival. This isn't cynicism, it's wisdom. Keeping secrets doesn't mean you're dishonest. It means you value your privacy, your plans, and your peace. Mystery protects you. It commands curiosity, respect, and caution. Let people trust you, but never let them fully read you. Be kind, but unreadable. Open, but never exposed. Because once the world knows all your truths, it owns them. And once it owns them, it owns you. 10. Make your power invisible. When people believe they are acting freely, they become the easiest to control. The greatest form of power isn't force, it's subtle guidance. When someone feels they've made their own choice, they defend it with conviction. They don't resist because they see no chain. That's how true influence works. Not by commanding openly, but by shaping the options others choose between. Let them feel independent, while every path they take leads exactly where you intended. This is the art of quiet control. Speak less, suggest more. Plant ideas gently, and let them grow in another's mind until they believe they're their own. People crave freedom, not truth. Give them the illusion of choice, and they'll follow you willingly. This is not deception. It's strategy born from understanding human nature. Command invisibly, rule through influence, not authority. The loud leader is feared for a moment. The silent one is obeyed for a lifetime. When your hand cannot be seen, your power becomes untouchable. Learn to move the pieces without being the piece yourself. Because once you master invisible control, you no longer chase influence. You become it. 11. Never rely on promises. Promises are the language of the weak. Words used to calm the strong and delay action. People make promises not to commit, but to buy time, to ease guilt, or to gain favor. A promise costs nothing. That's why it's given so easily. But action, real, deliberate action, is the only truth that speaks without words. Never build trust on what people say. Build it on what they consistently do when no one is watching. The wise understand that human nature is driven not by words, but by motives. People don't act from morality alone. They act from need, from fear, from gain. That's why promises fail. They rely on emotion, not incentive. If you want loyalty, don't ask for it. Align it with self-interest. Make it beneficial for others to keep their word, and they will. Make it costly to betray you, and they won't. This is how real power is maintained, not through speeches, but through structure. Trust incentives, not intentions. Watch what rewards people chase, and you'll see who they truly are. In the end, promises fade, but motives endure. The strong don't wait to be assured. They calculate, observe, and act accordingly. 12. Turn morality into strategy. When you act, act in the name of virtue. People rarely question the hand that strikes when it appears holy. Men will forgive cruelty if it comes dressed as righteousness, because morality blinds them more than fear ever could. The masses don't judge actions by their outcomes. They judge them by the words wrapped around them. Speak of justice, and they'll overlook your ambition. Speak of peace, and they'll excuse your conquest. It's not deceit. It's understanding the nature of perception. Every great leader in history knew this truth. People crave purpose more than they crave fairness. If your actions seem to serve a higher cause, even the harshest decisions appear noble. The Stoics taught that virtue is power aligned with reason, but the world interprets virtue through emotion. So frame your actions with integrity, even when they require force. Let your intent be clear to yourself, and your appearance be pure to others. Those who act with silent purpose and visible righteousness command both fear and admiration. Cruelty disguised as chaos is despised, but cruelty guided by conviction becomes discipline. Remember this: it's not enough to be right. You must appear righteous. That's how power survives under the mask of virtue. 13. Anticipate human nature. Every man is ruled by something: fear, greed, envy, or pride. These are the invisible strings that move even the strongest among us. Fear keeps him cautious, greed keeps him chasing, envy keeps him comparing, and pride keeps him blind. Once you understand which of these governs a man, you no longer need to fight him. You can guide him. Influence doesn't require power. It requires understanding. The fearful can be controlled through safety, the greedy through opportunity, the envious through validation, and the proud through flattery. Most people believe they act from reason, but reason is often just a mask worn by emotion. If you can read the emotion beneath the words, you can predict behavior before it happens. That's what separates those who lead from those who are led. This isn't manipulation, it's awareness. To navigate the world, you must understand what drives it. Everyone has a weakness, a point where desire outweighs judgment. Find it, and the game changes. True mastery is not about domination, it's about perception. Because once you know what rules a man's heart, you hold quiet command over his mind. 14. Be two things at once. Appear gentle, think ruthless. The world respects calm faces and kind words, but it bows to sharp minds. Let your demeanor be soft, patient, and composed, never loud, never aggressive. The moment others see no threat in you, they lower their guard. That is when true strategy begins. Appear humble, yet plan domination. Humility draws people close. Arrogance pushes them away. A humble appearance opens doors that brute force could never break. Softness is your disguise. Strategy is your core. Move like water, adaptable, quiet, and unstoppable. Let others mistake your silence for weakness and your kindness for naivety. Their underestimation is your greatest advantage. The ruthless don't always roar. Sometimes they smile. Control isn't taken by those who shout the loudest, but by those who wait, observe, and strike with precision when the moment is right. True strength is hidden beneath gentleness. The wise understand that power covered in calmness lasts longer than fear built on noise. So be soft in tone, but sharp in intention. Disarm with grace, conquer with intellect, because in a world that glorifies aggression, quiet ruthlessness wins every time. 15. Learn to create dependency. Give others enough success that they believe it's theirs. Let them rise, shine, and feel independent. Let them taste the illusion of power. People crave recognition more than they crave truth. When they think their achievements are self-made, their guard drops. That's when your influence becomes invisible, yet absolute. True control doesn't come from taking credit. It comes from giving it away while quietly remaining the source behind it all. But never let them forget where their success began. A subtle reminder, a gentle word, a quiet gesture, enough to awaken the memory that without your support, their rise would have been slower, maybe impossible. Do not demand gratitude. Let it grow naturally through awareness. Power sustained through appreciation lasts longer than power taken through fear. This is the art of invisible authority, empowering others while keeping them tied to your foundation. They feel free, yet their freedom operates within the world you built for them. And when the time comes, a single reminder, calm, controlled, and undeniable, will make them realize they didn't succeed despite you. They succeeded because of you. That is how quiet dominance endures. 16. Weaponized perception. Reputation is stronger than truth. The world doesn't see you as you are. It sees you as it believes you to be. Once people are convinced of your virtue, they will defend even your sins. They will twist logic, rewrite memories, and justify your flaws just to protect the image they've built of you. Truth is fragile. Reputation endures because it lives in the minds of others, not in reality. That's why the wise don't chase truth. They shape perception. Build your reputation with precision, guard it with silence, and let others speak on your behalf. When your name carries weight, your actions are interpreted, not judged. Even mistakes will be painted as wisdom misunderstood. But once your reputation cracks, even your good deeds will be doubted. So cultivate an image that aligns with strength, integrity, and control, and protect it like a fortress. Speak less, act deliberately, and never explain too much. Let mystery be your ally, and consistency your armor. Because in this world, truth may set you free, but reputation decides how far you can go once it does. 17. Never let emotion rule. Strategy, anger, jealousy, and even love. They all have the power to control you if you let them. These emotions feel powerful in the moment, but they are simply leaks in your control. Anger makes you reactive. Jealousy makes you insecure. Love, when unbalanced, makes you blind. Each one steals a piece of your judgment until you no longer act. You react. And that's when you lose power. A calm mind, however, is untouchable. It sees through provocation, temptation, and fear with the same stillness. It doesn't rush to respond or crave validation. It observes, understands, and then strikes with precision. That's why calm people are often misunderstood. Others mistake their silence for weakness, not realizing it's a weapon sharper than rage. Control isn't about feeling nothing. It's about mastering what you feel. It's the art of holding your fire until it's needed most. Because anyone can shout in anger, but only the disciplined can remain composed in chaos. Remember, the calm mind cuts the deepest, not because it's cold, but because it's focused. 18. Redefine fairness. Fairness is a comforting tale told to keep people obedient. It makes you believe the world owes you balance, that effort will always meet reward, and that justice eventually prevails. But life doesn't move by fairness. It moves by force, perception, and timing. Those who cling to fairness stay disappointed, waiting for something that never comes. The advantage belongs to those who dare to see reality without illusions. They accept that the world is not kind, yet they move through it with calm precision. They don't waste energy complaining about how things should be. They focus on how things are. And that clarity gives them power. When you stop expecting fairness, you begin to see patterns others ignore. You stop chasing comfort and start building control. The world may never be kind, but it respects strength, not aggression, but purpose. Because in a world ruled by chaos, the one who acts with clear intent becomes the only source of order. Power doesn't belong to the loud or the lucky. It belongs to those who understand. Machiavelli never promised comfort. He promised clarity. Once you see how people truly operate, how they chase approval, hide weakness, and mistake kindness for weakness, you stop being their pawn. You start becoming the player. These 18 ruthless rules aren't about cruelty. They're about survival. The world will not reward your purity, but it will respect your precision, control your emotions, master your image, choose your battles, because power is not taken in chaos. It's earned in silence, through patience and through strategy. So remember, fairness is a story, but advantage is a choice. And those who dare to act with purpose always rise above the rest. If this video opened your eyes, show your support, like, subscribe, and join the growing circle of thinkers who understand that knowledge is the sharpest weapon.